Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for coming out. This is probably one of the last Meet the Mayors. At least I know it is before the upcoming election, right? And as everyone knows here, I'm retiring from politics. So I've got some stuff I want to talk about today. We come up to the upcoming election. There's going to be things that you hear. There's going to be allegations. There's going to be accusations. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. So we're going to kind of try to set the record straight on some of the information that's out there. And really, it's not in response to what's out there, because all it is going to talk about what we've done over the last 4 years. So I think what happens sometimes people have amnesia or selective memory, or they just are just plain liars, right? So we've got the proof. We'll provide some slides today on where we are as a village. You know, and I'll be honest with you, there is challenges for the next administration. Okay, under the last 4.5 years, we've tightened our belts, okay, while at the same time being able to continue providing services for the residents, by being able to continue to add headcount in certain areas and reduce headcount when it didn't need to be. Okay? We've made some tough decisions over this last year, over the last 4 years. Decisions that no one else that's sitting on this board could have ever made. So what I'm telling you is, as we go through this today, we've made some tough decisions over the last 4 years, 4.5 years. The next administration is going to have to make some tough decisions also. They're going to have to continue tightening their belts. I was just talking to Mohan the other day. I'm trying to think what is today, Saturday. So I was talking to him, I think on Wednesday, we were going over some of the financials. You know, we're 4 months behind right now, and we stay 4 to 5, sometimes even 6 months behind on getting our money from the state. If we had all the money that the state owed us, number one, we'd be in a lot better position, but a lot more of our bills and stuff would be paid too. So, you know, the next administration coming here is going to face some major challenges. They're going to have to continue to tighten their belt. They're going to have to continue looking for ways for cost savings. They're going to have to continue looking for ways to move Sauk Village forward while still providing services to the residents. Now, I've heard everything out there. People send me stuff all the time from all this campaign literature, right? We'll go through some of these slides and talk about it. But I heard everything from, if I'm elected mayor, I will not take money from the water fund. Right? Well, let me tell you something. If they don't borrow money from the water fund, you know what it means? It means he's going to raise your taxes. That's what it means. Because that's the only way he can do it. That means he's going to have to go out and get loans, which means it's going to cost you because you're going to pay interest on those loans. Right now, you don't pay interest off the money that we borrow from the water fund. That means he's going to have to go out there and get bonds. Do you know that? Go back and look through history. And I'm doing some searching just to make sure that I don't quote myself, I don't quote something that's wrong. But think about, can you think of any other mayor prior to me that has gone without floating a bond? Bonds have been floated, right? We haven't floated any bonds in this administration. So we can continue moving Sauk Village forward, not getting us further in debt. Because that's what a bond does. It puts you further in debt. That means that future generations have to continue paying on those bonds. I very easily could have went out there and got bonds. But we didn't. Next administration is going to figure out what they're going to do. Are they going to put future generations in debt? Are they going to continue tightening their belts? Are they going to continue borrowing from the water fund to pay between those gaps? We've talked about it in many Meet the Mayors. You get paid at this time of the year, you've got no money coming in the middle part of the year, and then you get money at the end of the year, right? So any candidate that says, I will not borrow money from the water fund, that tells you one thing, or a couple things. They're going to put it on you. They're going to put it on you by raising your taxes. They're going to put it on you by floating bonds, which puts it back on you. They're going to put it on you by going out and getting loans, which puts it back on you because you're going to have to pay for the interest. So when these candidates talk, make sure you listen. And I encourage you, ask the questions. If you're not going to take money from the water fund, where are you going to get it from? Now, before I get too far into what I want to share with you today, right? First of all, I want to let everyone know, Linda did make cupcakes. So she was up last night making cupcakes, and she was decorating them this morning. So I did not bring any food inside here, okay? So if you want to, throughout the meeting here, if you want to go out and grab one, I would ask you that you would please do not bring a cupcake in here, because I don't want any trustees saying that there's cake mashed into the carpet because of me, right? So I'd ask that you eat your cupcakes out there. Feel free, I think she made something like 48 or so cupcakes, so there's plenty of cupcakes. If I have to, I'll call her up and have her make some more, right? So, but she should be here shortly. But feel free to take cupcakes when you go home. Feel free to step outside and grab some cupcakes. I assure you that speaking to you as a mayor and political figure, they're fat-free. So, and that's what I'm going to tell you about a lot of stuff that's coming out during this campaign, right? So cupcakes are outside. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. What I'll do is I'll go through some of these slides. I'll take questions. We'll stop in between slides, take additional questions. So I know I got one question sitting here waiting for me, and I know I don't have the answer yet, so I feel really bad. I have really been working on it. I'm still waiting on an email to come across. And we'll talk about that question a little bit, okay? I know there's a question sitting out there that wants to know how much money has the village paid out in legal fees because of 3 individuals, okay? Bernice Houston, who's a candidate, Francine Anderson, and Joe Wiswat, okay? I don't have the amount in front of me, and again, I'm working on getting those amounts, and hopefully I'll have them soon, okay? I've requested that information. I can tell you that, I can't tell you if it's going to be high, I can't tell you if it's going to be low, but we're going to talk about some ways they've cost the village in my slide presentation, okay? 2 of those individuals. One is a campaign manager, and one is a candidate running with one of those same candidates that are running against me. Or not running against me, I'm not really sure. So, no, I didn't change my mind. You know, it gets to me, I've been doing this for, you know, I talked to someone the other day. 18 years as an elected official serving you, the residents. That's from being a trustee all the way through mayor, okay? Before that, serving on committees and commissions, I served the village of Sauk Village for 10 years, 28 years of service, of community service. Both being non-elected through commissions or through being an elected official, okay? It's a long time, it wears and tears. When I was first started, I had a full set of hair, I had no gray. Now, my wife can blame it on being my political career. I can blame it on my wife and kids, right? So, again, I apologize. I don't have the information. I have requested the information. I was hoping to have it today. But again, once I have that information, I can assure you it will be published. Okay? To show the village residents how much just 3 individuals have cost this village in litigation. Okay? So, before I get into any slides here, and I've got my little helper up here making sure that my computer doesn't turn off every once in a while. How about if I see if anyone has a question to start off? Yes?
Talk about taking money borrowing from the water fund. Obviously, you're not the first mayor that's ever done that.
No.
The second question is simple question. Is it legal to do that?
It is legal to do it. And you'll find out, especially if you do a lot of research, communities are doing it across the state of Illinois. It's becoming a resource that municipalities have been able to use and not cost the village residents more money. You can borrow money from your fund, not have to pay interest. Where if you do anything else, you're going to have to float bonds, you're going to have to go out and get loans, you're going to have to raise taxes. So it's a way to be able to borrow funds, to be able to, in between that middle phase where you have no money coming in, to be able to continue keeping your village running. Okay? So, yes?
And if we went to Lake Michigan Water, we wouldn't have that fund, right?
No, you would not have that fund. We would not have fund for Lake Michigan Water. Plus, again, we're talking about increasing fees and stuff. So, and I tell you, if you have to leave early, stick around because I've got some news I want to make sure I share with everyone. Yes?
So we're only borrowing the money from the water fund, so when we do get that money back in, it's being put back, right?
We get that money, it gets put back in.
So why is it a big deal?
So, it's because it is a political propaganda, something that they want to use to rile up the people. So, yes.
Not long ago, there was a big spread in one of the major do we know, or will we ever see that money? If these people pay or don't pay?
No, if it's owed to the village, if, once they pay it, we'll see it. Okay? You know, on a good note, think about this, is we talk about how this administration hasn't floated any bonds. Okay? We've been paying off past administration's bonds, right? This year we pay off one bond. By the end of 2018, we'll pay off the second bond. Again, that's going to depend upon the next administration. If they put us further in debt, or if they continue to tighten their belt. But once the second bond is paid off at the end of 2018, that will be, here's an example for you. $750,000 more money will go into our general fund, rather than us paying off bonds. $750,000. Now, as your mayor, I would look at that and say, you know, that's more money we can put toward our general fund. That's more money we can look at doing services for the residents. What you have to keep in mind is this next election, people you vote for, how do they look at that $750,000? Do they look at it as more money they can spend upon themselves? Is that more money that they can go out and take loans on? That's what's important. This next election is crucial to Sauk Village. Here's how I look at this next election. And again, I'm not up here going to support anyone, but I'll tell you what, I'll point out their failures. This next election is a continued motion moving Sauk Village forward, or it's stepping 5 years back. That's what it is. Who remembers where we were 5 years ago? The same individual that I ran with, what, 6 years ago? We agreed on stuff. I can tell you right now, in this election, I don't agree with him. 6 years ago, we agreed to moving Sauk Village forward. We agreed on trying to reduce our debt. We agreed on crime. We agreed on a lot of things. And if you look at his voting record, all the way up to the middle of 2015, we agreed on everything. What changed in the middle of 2015? He got 2 other votes on the board with him. And all of a sudden, his whole entire agenda changed. And you know what? Look at his voting record. His voting record changed to go back to the previous administration's agenda. Again, I'm not here to support anyone. I'm not going to support, I'm not going to use Village Hall for supporting anyone. But if there's candidates that are running for election who are going to destroy our community, I'm going to show you proof, and I'm going to tell you why I feel they will destroy our community. Don't go off my word. Everything's public record. I encourage you to go back and look at some of these candidates, how their voting record was prior to the middle of 2015, or prior to May of 2015, and then see how their voting record changed. It's not me. It's them. Right? I'm not going to tell you anything that's not factual. You can go look it up yourself. It's part of public record. Ordinances are out there online. Minutes are out there online. Go back 5 years and look what the previous administration's agenda was, and then look at what this candidate's agenda is right now. Again, continue moving Sauk Village forward, or taking a 5-year step back. That's what it means to the village of Sauk Village. That's what it means to you, the residents. Now, is stuff say going to be used against me? I don't care. Yeah, it will be. It's being videotaped. It's going to be all over Facebook, right? You know? People are already contacting their candidates, friends, and letting them know what I'm saying about them. And they're going to see it on video. They're going to see it on Facebook. They'll see it on YouTube. My whole thing is, I hope the residents, they got enough guts to put these slides up that I'm going to be showing up in a little bit. Let the residents see the proof. Because the proof will be in the slides. We go through a few of these slides, and I'll come back to some more questions. All right? Let's see if we can go through this. There we are. Welcome. I forgot to put the first one up, right? April the 4th, 2017. Who knows what it is? Election Day, right? Woohoo! Right? Let's look at Election Day. You know what? When it comes to elections, there's political buzzwords, right? Has anyone thought about the political buzzwords are this year? Does Sometimes they're continuously. Every year you're the same thing, right? But water's one of them. I don't know if I have water up there. Let's see here. Look at the buzzwords. Transparency. Right? We're going to talk about transparency and what this administration has done that no other administration has ever done. And you know what? You should be curious to see if these candidates get in office, if they'll continue it. Because it's easy to say it, but I'll tell you what, it's difficult to enforce. Because when you have true transparency, you don't always look good. That's true transparency. Being able to say, you know what? There's some stuff out there that doesn't make this administration look good, but we're still going to publish it. We're still going to present it. We're going to provide the facts. What else do we have? Infrastructure, right? Oh man, our roads are terrible. Fire hydrants. Let's take a look at it. We're going to show you here a little bit what we've done in infrastructure. Accountability. I tell you what, accountability I look at as being a trustee is voting for stuff, right? Being accountable is knowing what you're going to discuss at a village board meeting prior to the board meeting. Accountability is going out and doing your research before a village board meeting. That is accountability. Accountability is voting for paying our employees and not voting no or present. Accountability is voting to pay our vendors, not voting no or present, and then turn around and wanting to complain because we have an agent report and because our vendors aren't getting paid. I don't know if I have trustworthy up there, but I'll tell you what, that's not being trustworthy. To vote no against accounts payable and then stand up and tell people we're not paying our vendors and we're not paying our employees, and you know what? We're in all sorts of bad shape. You're in charge of the pocketbook. You vote for it. That's not being trustworthy. Yes?
What exactly does voting president mean?
It means that they're gutless. That's my opinion. Okay? It's because it's an election year, they don't want to go ahead and vote no because their other two friends are voting no. They're gutless. Yes. I thought I saw a hand over here. Let's see what else we got. I'm not going to be nice today. I don't have to be nice. I'm not running. And you know what? When you tell the truth, you're not liked. You know, that's why they constantly, for the last 4 years, want to turn around and say that I'm a liar. To try to get people where they don't listen to what I'm saying because they don't want people to believe what I'm saying. But you know what? Again, we're going to provide the facts. Okay? Let's see here. Administration. That's a big one. I love how I've seen someone sent me some campaign material from a candidate. Again, I find it hilarious when I read this campaign literature. Supposed to be running with a candidate for mayor, and her material says he needs to be removed from office. I think there's a disconnect right there. Either you're running with a person or you're not. So, yeah, I love it. Administration, safety, FOIAs. We're talking about FOIAs here. Transparencies. This is stuff that's happened under this administration. Okay, we've started the e-alerts. Again, I'm going to look back at some of this. I usually have my computer in front of me. FOIAs are now located on the village website. Again, this is information that was never provided before in the past. Okay? This is stuff that we've implemented under this administration. Department heads reports are published on Facebook. They're put out through e-alerts. Board meetings are videotaped, multiple videotapes. They're out there on YouTube. They're out there on Facebook. They're out there everywhere, right? I would love to see 2 administrations ago have someone come in and videotape it. Under 2 administrations ago, it would never happen. Quarterly Sauk talks, trying to get the information out there. And here's what's important to realize. When you look at those quarterly reports, Sauk talks, do you know that every trustee has the opportunity to put something in there? Do you know that only 4 times a year trustees have to tell you what they're doing? Take a look at some of those quarterly Sauk talks over last year. Some of these people that are running for election don't even use the Sauk talk. That tells you because they're not doing anything. They want you to think they're doing something. They use political buzzwords. They go out there and they try to incite the residents. That's all they're doing. Because they're not doing anything. Again, I'm not going to be nice today. So, you know. Let's talk about infrastructure. I've got this one turned around backwards because this one was a little bit hard to see. Well, everyone take a look at here. This right here are road projects we've done since 2012. If you get time after the meeting, come up, take a look at it. You can see 2012 is highlighted in green, 2013 is in orange, 2014 is in purple, 2015 is in blue. We received no money in 2016, CDGB grant money. They limited the amount, so there's a lot of communities that are receiving money. But 2017, we're receiving a lot of funds. Okay? Let me tell you how this comes out in revenue. Again, I went to the bottom of the slide. I'm going to turn this around. Between 2012, when I became acting mayor, and all the way through 2017, in road projects alone, that's 2 million. Hang on, I got to get my glasses out. Sorry about that. Only thing that's still refused. $2,263,000 and $2,263,119 in road projects. People want to tell you about how bad our roads are? I think it gives you the cost center at the bottom. 2012, 192,000. 2013, 275,000. 2014, 452,000. 2015, 393,000. In 2017, we're estimated to do $950,000. Almost $1 million in roads. Why is that? Because we were out there, we reached out, we got federal funding. We reached out there and we got community development block grants. Reaching out there and trying to get some more on how to invest in Cook County to get additional funds. That's $150,000 there. Candidates say our roads are bad, they're going to do better infrastructure. I have to ask them, how are they going to do it? Because I'll tell you what, we're out there shaking every leaf there is. We're out there digging underneath the trees trying to get money. Yes?
Do you have to vote when this money comes in?
Yes.
How do they vote?
Yeah, I don't have enough votes in front of me, but it's a good thing to check. So, it's important to know. I can tell you one project we tried to do, I have to be careful about chasing rabbits, right? Who's ever heard of the bike path or sidewalk to nowhere? Right? Do you know we went out and got a grant, which was going to cost the village residents not one dime. We worked through Southborough mayors and managers. It took months to apply for all the paperwork to get that bike path to go from Sauk Trail to Cottage Grove, which is out by Bloom Trail High School, to turn on Cottage Grove and go all the way up to Maryburn Drive, which would provide safe access not only to our children, our youth, but provide safe access to the workers that are working out there in those TIF areas. And you know the board voted it down. Because a small section, because there was one little thing in there that says that the village would be responsible for maintaining. Do you know that the village only owned the portion from Sauk Trail to where Pacesetter Steel is? Do you know the rest of that whole entire bike path went through Stager? All the way down to, that's all Stager, all the way down to Cottage Grove. Cottage Grove, all the way down to Maryburn Drive. Tell you what, these candidates can make every excuse they want. And believe me, I can tell you, in my opinion, what they are. But they're not in favor of the village residents. They're in favor of themselves. So they want to complain about a bike path to nowhere. It's because of them, not because of this administration. This administration went out and got grant money. They did it so that this administration would have egg on their face. You know why? Because we worked out intergovernmental agreements with Stager. We worked out intergovernmental agreements with the state of Illinois. We worked out intergovernmental agreements with Cook County. We worked out intergovernmental agreements with the Southborough mayors and managers to get those funds, which would have cost the village residents not one dime. You lost out because of their bitterness and their greed, and because of trying to make someone look bad, and that someone was me. And I'll tell you right now, I don't stand before you and apologize for them. Yes?
Don't that what costs money to prepare all that?
Well, yeah, it costs tons of money. And you know what? Here's another thing. All the engineering work, we got grants through CMAP to pay for all the engineering work. So all the engineering work, all the construction, everything would not have cost the village residents one dime. And what's funny is you're going to see it come before the village board. We have to approve the money to be paid out to CMAP. Because CMAP is sending us the check, we have to approve that money, the board does, to approve that money from CMAP to go to the engineers because all the engineer work they did for that bike path. Trust me, if certain individuals get elected, I will make sure that county, state, federal, especially South Dakota managers, know how they voted on all that work that we did together.
So will it come back up where it might be?
It'll come back up next year. We're going to apply for it. You know, I won't be in office. Next administration has the opportunity to apply for it again.
So it can be applied for again.
We're going to apply for it again. The problem was we had everything in line and did all the work. One good thing is all the engineering work is done. Okay? Again, what you have to look at is elections. We hope that we'll still have an agreeing board with Sager. You never know. Elections nowadays, one minute you can have a board that agrees with you like we did. 2 years ago, we ended up having a split board, right? Same thing could happen in Sager. You know, things could happen in county. County may have elections and they have people change their mind on how they vote. They may have memories about what Sauk Village did to them in the past and say, forget it, these guys don't want it anyway. So, you know, we'll continue to work on getting stuff in. I'm not going to do anything negative to the village. I tell people that when I retire, I just kind of want to sit back. I want Sauk Village to continue to prosper. I really do. Sometimes it's very difficult because inside, you know, how they try to put it to me, the old saying is, I would love to put it right back to them. But I'm not going to do it because I have a love for residents of Sauk Village. I live in this community. I'm raising my family in this community. Most of these candidates don't even have family in this community. If they do, they have to ship them out here because there's always all kinds of gang member stuff going on at their house and shootings. They have to keep their family members away. Yeah, one candidate had a daughter living here, shooting over at behind the library. She turned around, moved over on our street. There was a shooting over on our street.
Like first, our street first, and then the library.
Yeah. Moved somewhere else, gang activity and shootings. It's a candidate running for mayor. If you can't control your own family, how do you plan on controlling a village? And I'm not saying control, because you don't control a village. If you can't run your own family, how do you plan on running a village? Again, we talk about roads. Let's go back and look at here real quick. Water main breaks. You know, we've worked on infrastructure in Sauk Village. The numbers prove the work that's happening and the work we've been doing is getting better. I work in quality, right? So you look at the stats, okay? Think about this. In 2012, I gotta look up here, go closer. We had 45 water main breaks. Let's see if I can show this up here. 45. 2013, we had 41. 2014, we had 13. Yeah, we did a lot of work in between in 2013. 2014, 13, 2015, 17, 2016, 15. Why is that? It's because of the work that we're doing to our infrastructure. People want to talk about our infrastructure. They want to talk about our water funds. They want to talk about what we're doing. Why is that? Because of water main valve replacements. Between 2012 and 2016, we've done 9 valve replacements. What does that do? That takes stress off other areas. That allows them to be able to turn water off in certain areas to be able to do work here and things like that. Remember the leak on Sauk Trail that everyone wanted to attack us on? It was like almost in the middle of winter. We had to put a valve over on Jeffrey Avenue. I think it was over by the apartment somewhere, so that we could fix that leak. That was one of the valves that were put in. Fire hydrants. Well, that's a hot topic, right? I tell you, there was no infrastructure repairs on fire hydrants when I became mayor. Previous administration just continued to let them go. When I became mayor, there was 90-some fire hydrants that were inoperable. Okay? We have, now I'll give you an example, we have over 500 fire hydrants throughout the village. I can't remember the exact number, it was 90-something fire hydrants that were inoperable. We're down today to about 61. Okay? We have either repaired or replaced an average of 7 fire hydrants per year. Now, do I want that number to be higher? I sure do. But you remember, we have one department that does it, right? With a handful of men, or a handful of workers. Those workers also are the ones that are out there cutting your trees. They're the same ones that are out there fixing the water main breaks. They're the same ones out there plowing your streets. They're the same ones out there that's collecting the leaves when there's leaf pickup. They're the same ones that's out there turning water on, turning water off. They're the same ones that's running our whole entire pumping system. Okay? I mean, we could go on and on, all the work that the Public Works Department does. So at an average of 7 fire hydrants per year, that's good. I wanted to see that number more at around 15. I want to see double. Again, I have high expectations. But I tell you what, our Public Works guys, you know, they're the same ones that does repairs inside our buildings. They're the same ones that are out there mowing the grass in the summertime. They're the same ones that are doing preventative maintenance on our vehicles. So it's not like we have just one department that replaces fire hydrants. But you know what? Seems like it's a political buzzword this year, right? They want to attack people on fire hydrants. Question is, what's the next sort of people that are running for office? What are they going to cut if they want to get more fire hydrants repaired? Our goal was making sure that we have at least a minimum of 1 fire hydrant in the areas where there's fire hydrants that are bad. That's what we focused on at first. City of Chicago says right on their website that their goal is the same. At least 1 fire hydrant per city block is working. I think our blocks are a lot smaller than those city blocks in Chicago. Yes.
I think of lady for the next 4 weeks.
Hey, you know what? Blame me all they want. So, let's see if there's anything else on this. Oh, there was. There's the numbers right there in front of me. 94 were reported when I became mayor. 35 have been repaired. 61 are pending right now. They either need to be repaired or replaced. Now, there's things that I probably could have done, but it would have cost you, the residents, right? I could have went out and brought an outside company in here and said, I want these repaired, replaced. I could have brought someone in, but you know, it would cost grievances because we have what's called unions inside this community, right? That would have cost you, the residents, would end up paying twice to have those fire hydrants repaired or replaced if I brought an outside company in. Now, if the next administration wants to do that, it's up to them. Again, putting the cost back on you, the residents. Let's see what else we have here. We talked about water main breaks, valve replacements, hydrants, road construction. We just saw energy efficient lighting throughout the village. Now, do all the lights work? There's lights that are still out. We're still working with ComEd. You're going to see on one of these other slides how the village administrator is working with ComEd and our Public Works Department to try to find what needs to be done on the street lights. If you live on a street that there's a street light out, we have lists of them, and I can't remember if the number's like 20 or 30 lights throughout the village that are still not working, of the hundreds of lights that we have. So there was meetings this last week with ComEd. We had their engineers in. We had meetings with, Kevin was with them, the village administrator, finding out what we got to do to get these lights working. Some of them are ground faults in the ground. There's issues. Some of them are issues with it. A lot of it has to do with the power coming. So they're working on it. All right? But energy efficient lights, saving you, the residents. That was a 5-year ROI, return on investment. 5 years, just because we went to energy efficient lighting. See if you hear that in this election. Safety. I've got a lot of slides, so there's only a few points up here we're going to talk about. Identified and tracked the movement of more than 400 vacant Sauk Village residential properties. Drastically reduced Sauk Village civil liability and implemented a safety committee. Now, I didn't do all this. This happened under this administration, right? When you look at tracking the more than 400 vacant homes, that consists of a lot of people that worked on it. Housing authority, right? They were a big help going out there and identifying those homes and bringing that in there. Administrative services, you got Sherry in there putting together and charts. You've got JW and Reed putting things into Excel forms and following these homes, working with the water department to see if water hookup is still connected to these homes. Is there still a water bill? There's a lot of work. When we say identify and track the movement of more than 400 vacant homes, that's not just one person sitting behind a desk and just punching numbers. That is multiple people working and getting that information and bringing it all into one pool. Then someone taking that information and putting it into an Excel form and making sure that they're working with the water department. So if water gets turned on at this house, or is the water on at this house and no one's living there, maybe the water needs to be turned off so there's no longer a water bill and we're no longer getting charged for garbage pickup at that house. Okay? So we look at stuff like that. We're going to talk a little bit about our civil liability. We'll talk a little bit, I think I have in later slides about the safety committee. So let's go through some of these, and then if I have to, I'll go back. Liability claims. This is a chart comes from our insurance company. But I want you to take a look and realize that our claims are going down. Okay? This goes up to 2016. That's all the data we have so far, 2016. Our claims have gone down. Our revenues have gone up. Paying our claims. You look at here, look at 2008. I mean, you go right down through. So the blue is what's been paid. The orange is our reserves. 2015 was one of our best years. I think 2016, once the numbers come out, are going to show we have a good year on getting our reserves, reducing our claims. Okay? Again, I don't put these numbers together. This comes from our insurance company. All right? Let's see here. Workman compensation claims. Again, we're seeing how they're being paid. Oops, sorry about that. We're seeing how they're being paid. You can barely see the line right here. We see our reserves are right here, and occurrences. I'm sorry, our paid is right there. So I guess I'm going to go ahead. This is our occurrences. Our occurrences are down. Okay, we're paying, and our reserves are better, and that goes all the way through 2017. So I can't share with you what workman compensations are because it deals with personnel. But a lot of this has gone down because of our safety committees. It's because of the work that we've put together with bringing safety back to Sauk Village, into our department, and implementing it into our departments. 2016, we put together, again, a lot of stuff that residents may not see, is we put together objectives of what to do for the previous year, for the prior year, okay? This is in 2016 objectives that were met. We decreased the number of claims. Sorry about that. Minimize the village's exposure to recurring claims, implemented more aggressive claims management, implemented programs to lower employment practices for workers' compensation. We got the safety committee. We met all of our objectives. Again, this was the first year we started kicking in 2015. 2016, in the end of 2015, we put all of our objectives together. 2016, we met all of our objectives. Okay? Let's look at 2017. Again, this year, 2017, I won't be around for most of it, but there is goals on what we're going to do when it comes to safety in Sauk Village. Okay? Again, aggressively hand and manage claims from inception to end. You know, in the corporate world, we call that from cradle to grave, right? All right? So we got some from inception to end. Promote more safety awareness throughout departments, improve claims, reporting processes, communicate village policies to employees, increase number of training programs, encourage utilize of web-based training provided. You know, that's something, again, no other administration has ever provided. You know, we're making it where it's more easy. We're not just saying, okay, you have to come, you have to take a test, you have to take some training. You know, you can take this training on your own if you want. All depends on, as a village employee, how safety-minded are you? You know, anyone who works in the corporate world, I know I do, I've got the same thing. I can go to work in the morning, take a 10-minute safety talk on my computer, web-based, and do it myself. And I can log it and show that I participated in that. Is it mandatory? No, but you know what? I do it. I want my employer to know that I participate in safety. You know, there's other things that I participate. I'm a first responder, right? Why is that? Because if someone gets hurt, I want to make sure that I can help. It's not mandatory to be a first responder at my job, but I am. I work in the corporate world. Right? There's many things that happen that you can go through. There's if you go to my work website, there's tons of training materials that you can take. This week I took classes. I would pass my yellow belt, I'm not karate, all right? In the corporate world, we deal with Lean Six Sigma, right? Some of the practices that we've tried to implement here in Sauk Village, okay? Things that you don't hear about in government, right? This last week on Monday, I passed my yellow belt training, and yesterday I finally passed my green belt training, 3 days. And I'll tell you what, 3 days of intense training. I was thinking last night I was brain dead, you know? By the time you end up taking that test, it's unbelievable. But I passed, okay? Now I come up with my project. Every project has an amount considered to it, right? You know, my green belt has a $5,000 cost savings initiative. My my green belt has a $50,000 cost savings initiative, and my boss is already pushing me for my black belt training, right? Black belt has to be a $200,000 cost saving initiative, all right? I'm trying to let me get my green belt initiative done first. So, but again, this is what I'm trying to do is take, as your mayor, I've been trying to take my real life work initiatives and bring it back to the village. We've been trying to bring cost savings initiatives to the village. We've been working lean. You know? Again, ask these candidates coming up. You know, are you going to hire more people? How are you going to do it? Who's going to pay for it? It's easy to say, I'll put more people in this position, I'll put more people in this position, I'll put more people in this position, but how are they going to do it? And are they needed? Just because you think they're needed doesn't mean they need to be needed. One of the things we learned in the green belt training and yellow belt training, the 5 whys. You know, implement it in your own life. You know, we did scenarios. Ask why 5 times before you do something. You can even ask why more until you come down and narrow it down to the root cause. Someone said, I'm going to hire more people in code enforcement. Why? First why, you might get an answer. Because we need to do better on our property maintenance part. Why? Because I think the village needs to look better. Why? 5 whys. They need to ask themselves questions. 5 whys. That's what we've done under this administration. Someone wants something done. Why? 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 We've made some tough decisions in this administration. We're on one of the last slides. We're going to talk about it. Tough decisions. But you know what? It's because in the end, after you got through all those 5 whys, it's because you know what needs to be done. And here's why it needs to be done. One example is on one of the last slides. Joint Dispatch Center. I'll tell you what, I've been a trustee for a long time. I worked at the police department as a cadet. I ran the radio room as a cadet. I did the ride-along programs as a cadet. I did the filing as a cadet. I was the highest ranking cadet they had over. I was a cadet lieutenant. I had cadets underneath me. I had cadet sergeants. I had cadets. We put together, at a young age, we were all under 21. We had to put together our work schedules, what we were going to do. You had to put so many hours in the radio room, so many hours worth of filing, so many hours at the front desk before you got to do so many hours of ride-along. So many hours of community service. So dispatch center was a tough one. Ask, why do you need to start a dispatch center? Well, you know what? Dealing with mayors and managers and IML, Mayor's Caucus, it was coming down. Springfield is on pass and mandate that all communities go to joint dispatch center. So you ask yourself those whys going all along. It's a cost savings. Why? Because we have 5 employees, 5 long-term employees. And that cost center was that dispatch center was costing us over $300,000 a year. Why? Well, they're union. I got nothing against unions. You know, I was a union employee myself. I was under steel workers. I was boilermakers and shipmakers before going salary. And I've been salary for years. Again, I remember working in union. I remember working throughout car, boilermakers, shipmakers. I remember welding. You know, I tell my kids all the time, you don't start up here. In some cases, you're not going to make what I make tomorrow. You know, I worked Burger King for $3.25 an hour. You know, before Burger King, I worked sanding down cars at a body shop for $2.50 an hour. Now, to some of you sitting here, that might sound like a lot, because you remember your first jobs. Right? 50 cents. You could probably come out a lot more. But you know what? In the 80s, $2.50 wasn't a lot. But you know what? I had a job. And I worked on every single job to get where I'm at today. I tell my kids the same thing. Two of my boys just got new jobs. It's funny because they come home, they're black from head to toe. You know, it's hilarious. I remember those days. I remember coming home from throw a car, being black from head to toe from loading all day, and walking in the door going, oh, I'm so tired. And get going off and having enough strength barely to eat, and then going to bed and getting up the next day and making sure I was at work on time. I'm trying to instill the same into my children. You know? I get up early every morning. I get up, what, 5 o'clock? Used to be 4:30. Time change, just pushing off to 5:15. My body still is on the same time, but the problem is the time has changed. Daylight savings time, right? I get up, what do I do? First thing in the morning, usually I go around and do things. I turn lights off, and I go to the bottom of the stairs and yell for the girls, and usually Joanna, because she's one of these earliest. Joanna, you up? Yes. No, you're not. Get out of bed. Right? Then I go to the other side of the house and say, Johnny, you up? I was like, Benjamin, what time you go to work? You know, Ethan? Oh, Dad, I don't go to work till 7:30. Get out of here. You know, again, it's instilling the workmanship. It's instilling practices in your house. You know, if you get used to it. You know, I'm looking at a lot of older men, older women in here. You know that over the years, you've had to work. You knew that every morning when that alarm clock went off, you had to get up. You know, we live in a society nowadays, you don't see that too much in kids. If you want to make it somewhere in life, I'm not talking to the choir here, I'm looking around the room. If you want to make it somewhere in life, you have to work for it. Life's not going to give you a free handout. Now that's off the record, all right? Because I know I'm chasing a rabbit here. But you look at some of these things, and again, I can't remember where I stopped at. But you look at the objectives that we've got put in place for 2017. Look at the objectives that we're starting the next administration off with. That they've got some stuff to work on. We said at the beginning of it, there's challenges for this next administration. There's challenges under this administration. There's challenges under the next administration. There they are. That's for our risk management objectives. Right? Let's see here. What else we got here? FOIAs. That's a hot topic. That's a political buzzword, right? Yeah. Oh, FOIA. Why are we sending FOIAs to the attorneys? Blah, 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 blah. You know what? We talked about transparency. We're the first administration to put FOIAs online. You know, you can go online, you can click on the FOIA link, you can see what the FOIA was, you can see who asked for the FOIA, then you can click on the highlighted number in the corner, and you can look at all the information that was provided to that individual. That did not happen until this administration. Again, going back to transparency. I want to see if the next administration keeps up with this. Because you know what? Maybe not all the information makes this administration look good. There's stuff that they want to use against the administration. But you know what's important to do? To look at? The requesters. The majority of our FOIAs are politically motivated. I heard one candidate said, if I become your mayor, I'm going to reduce FOIAs. Well, it's not hard when your campaign manager and the person you're running with has the majority of the FOIAs in the last 2 years. Let's see here. One of the questions that was asked about Joe Wiswadi and Denise Houston. Okay? Joe Wiswadi, says, let's look at 2016. Okay? 83 FOIAs. Of that, Joe Wiswadi asked for 14. Bernice Houston had 34. 84 FOIAs, 48 of them were because of 2 individuals. All the rest of those are onesies and twosies. Okay? Hang on real quick. 2017, so far this year, 19 FOIAs. Between the two, campaign manager and running mate, 15. 15 FOIAs out of 19 so far this year. Politically motivated. Take a look at them. They're online. See what they're asking. Then turn around and see how much they use against on the next election. The information's there. See how many of those FOIAs are asked over and over. That's there. You had a question.
Yeah, Freedom of Information Act, that's what it is, that's what FOIA stands for.
Right.
Freedom of Information, it's the citizens' right to know.
Right.
But you know, say if you citizen advocate who wants to save the village some money or believes that funds are being mismanaged. What do they do with that information? Okay, it costs a certain amount of money to submit a FOIA, but how much money is going to be returned back to the village with the information just provided? That's, you know, if somebody was doing something like that, and the village would actually be saving money, or, you know what I'm saying, writing the ship, I can understand it, but that's not happening. All that's happening is a big drain on our finances for somebody's right to know.
You're right, again, I've got nothing against FOIAs. I think when people use it to be politically motivated, to try to make someone look bad or take it and twist it, you know, I don't, we're not the only community that faces these FOIA issues. There is legislation in Springfield to try to change FOIA. Some changes have been made the last couple of years. It used to be if someone asked a question, you had to constantly give them information. Now that we've gone online, if someone asks a question that was already asked, all we got to say is it's already online. So that was one of the things that was passed in Springfield. So again, it helps a little bit, but you know, these people have got to that point where, oh, I want to amend my question, I want to ask it different. Same question, just worded different.
And again,
It's like, here's an example. Are you wearing a black coat? What color coat are you wearing? So, and you can ask a question over and over, different ways. That's what they do in a lot of these FOIAs, yes.
well, it seems like what's happening is, you know, they want the information so they can be a problem identifier instead of a problem solver.
There you go. And that's what it is. They're not asking for this information to help solve. They're not asking for this information to help try to better our community. They're using it so they try to incite the residents and go out there and take it and twist it so that they can go off and spread their lies. Yes.
This information that they're asking, I'm assuming it's information that's already out there is that important, these things that have been said, and they don't agree with it or believe it, so.
You know, a lot of it is. You know, I heard someone say someone sent me some campaign material and said, the village never provides the collector's reports. We give collector's reports all the time. Collector's reports are online. They've been online for the last 2 or 3 years. So again, they don't tell the truth. That's why you got to be careful on this campaign material. So, you know, again, I'm sure a lot of this stuff, since it'll go online, since a lot of people are here, they'll use this information so they can go back and change your campaign material, right? So hopefully you kept the first one so you can see the difference that they made in the second one. So, let's see here. Crime. Another political buzzword, right? Oh, crime is terrible. Oh, it is. But you know, it's not as bad as it was 4 or 5 years ago. That's why it's important. That's why this election is so important. People are at the point now they don't mind walking around the block again. People are at the point now in the summer they're not scared about leaving their front door open. Do we still have crime in our community? Yes. Every community has crime. But you know what? It's not as bad as it was 5 years ago. And we go back to the beginning thing that we said earlier. That's why this election is so important. It's a step to continue moving Sauk Village forward, or it's a step 5 years back. What have we done in this administration? We've hired a qualified, professional police chief. Qualified, professional. Not a political friend. I'll be politically correct. Yeah. We didn't hire someone that's going to go ahead and be a yes man, or a yes girl, or a yes woman. We hired someone that says, this is the way it has to be done. This is the way it's supposed to be done. Let's look at some of the stuff we've done since we hired this professional, qualified police chief. I'll tell you the Sauk Village General Order to reduce UCR crimes. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. By 220%. Now there's some political hacks out there that want to go off and want to debate these numbers. Let them. The numbers are there. I'm going to show you these numbers. I'll show you what they were doing. I'll show you how previous administrations under the police department were inflating their numbers to make Sauk Village look bad so they could get their own candidates in office. Organized years of neglected records. Tell you what, we brought the chief in, he went off and found out that there were spaces in the basement where there was just records piled high, falling over like the Tower of Pisa. Because previous administrations, same individuals who are running the department that the next administration wants to put in as your next police chief, was letting deteriorate and not file. Let's see here. Initiated a prescription drug takeout program. Let's see here. Replace Sauk Village Police. I should have brought something to drink. Replace Sauk Village Police vehicles without using village funds. We've hired police officers, updated police sergeant's eligibility list. In fact, that just happened. We just got that one done, right? So, let's see. Brought in county, state, and federal agencies to invest serious allegations of police misconduct. You don't hear about stuff like this because it's under personnel, right? Again, your department head runs. When the department head, which is the police chief, gets a report of misconduct, he doesn't come running to the village residents. He doesn't announce it at the village board meetings. He doesn't even tell the trustees. What he does, he calls for a federal investigation that he is separate from and said, we've received these allegations of misconduct. Can you please come in and take a look at it? It's not the way it used to be done. It used to be done, I got a misconduct allegation. Is that my friend? Oh, no, we're not everything. Oh, there's nothing found. Question is, next administration, will they continue some of this stuff? Or will it go back to 5 years ago? Where they take care of their friends? They try to put a police state in and go after the people that they thought ran against them, or they go after people who voted against them. Again, moving Sauk Village forward, or taking a 5 year step back. Let's see here. Identified and forwarded evidence for indictment of former village treasurer to federal authorities. I can't go through everything because I don't know everything. A lot of things went through the police department with their federal investigation. But I can tell you that once our police chief, again, qualified and professional, received information, he did a follow-up and found out that there was some misconduct. He turned around and said, okay, I'm not the person to handle this. He went back and made a call immediately to federal authorities and said, I got a report of misconduct. Can you come in and please investigate? That's when federal authorities came in after he made the phone call to do an investigation on our village treasurer. Okay? But again, people want to use the village treasurer as a political propaganda. Right? I think it's funny, some people that are running, and I have to say, I was not maybe the best friends, but I'll tell you what, our village treasurer was someone who I would have trusted. I appointed him. He was a former village treasurer from a former administration. I would have never thought that he would have done something like he did. Never. So we look at cleanup reporting mold and asbestos elements for Sauk Police Department. Stuff's been there for how many years? And they want to blame this administration because there's mold and asbestos in the police department. There was mold and there was asbestos because when it was built, it was put there. There was mold and asbestos when I worked. There was a police cadet back in the 80s. And everyone wanted to make a big deal about it in this administration. They had to. You know? We went off, we repaired the police cars, we got new cars, we fixed their wheels, we gave the officers what they needed. Oh, you know what? You got more than asbestos. So. Or you're talking about somewhere else? You're talking about not the village property? I don't know. I can't answer that. That would be an insurance question for the property. Yeah, it would have to be a question to them. I have no idea. So that's one question I can't answer. Again, if it was village property, I could probably answer it because we would have done a little bit more checking into it. That happened somewhere else. That did not happen on village time. So that's between the individual and the property owner. So, I'll take on that one, yes.
Was there an investigation of the mold in the police department and you were found to be compliant with the EPA standards?
We were. But again, we removed what was there, they removed the asbestos, all the work was done under this administration for something that has been there probably for 3 prior administrations, maybe 4. Because I was police cadet in the 80s. So it's done, it's cleaned up. Brought the nationwide Narcan program to Sauk Village and hosted residential town hall meetings to deal with matters on policing and crime. Again, having an individual, number one, that's professional, number 2, that is qualified, that's what's important. That's why things get done. Does he still have a lot to do? He sure does. And he's still working every day to make our Sauk Village Police Department the number 1 police department in the state of Illinois and in the South Suburbs. He's out there making sure our officers are trained, make sure they have what they need. Just his every day, he's out there. Now, he comes to the village board meetings. It's amazing what he does. You know, I've heard people say, you know, I saw him on a car being pulled over. I've never seen a police chief ever on a pullover. You know, there's a house on fire, or there's something going on. He's going around knocking on doors, letting residents know everything's okay. You know, just stay in your house. You know, things like that. Things that were never done for previous police chiefs or even deputy chiefs. So, let's see here. We talked about the uniform crime reporting, UCR. I put definition up there. We're going to allow this information out. I'm going to try to get this slide presentation on the mayor's portion of the website. But FBI gathers crime statistics from law enforcement agencies across the nation. It's on a voluntary basis. Again, Sauk Village is part of that. We provide the information. We talked about how we've decreased it. There you go. There's your UCR crime, okay? 2012, 2013, 2014, new police chief came in, adjusted the numbers, went back and found out that the reporting was incorrect. Again, that's about having a professional person, someone who's qualified, to go back and take a look. You can only go back 1 year. Okay? So this is where we went off and we took a look at it. Adjusted numbers, brought it down to here. But again, 2015, 2016, we continue to bring those numbers down. Now back to, do we still have crime in Sauk Village? Yes, we do. But when I became mayor 4 years ago, I said we're going to continue pushing crime, we're going to continue pushing the criminal element on Sauk Village. To do that, it took a police chief like this. That's what it took. Now, if you want to go back 5 years and get other police chiefs that were in there, people like that, you'll watch your numbers go through the roof again. Number 1, because they had no idea what they were doing. And number 2, because they inflated the numbers on purpose. So, again, these are actual numbers. Every single year, we continue to go down. All right? Again, these aren't my numbers. Go out there and look at the UCR crime on the FBI site. These are actual numbers. Our numbers go through a computer system. They run a report. Those reports are actual. Those numbers from those reports are what are used in this report. How did the police chief, after he was hired, find out that the numbers were skewed? He ran a report for 2015. Came out of the computer and said, this number does not match this computer readout. This number does not match this computer readout. This number. He ran a report for 2013. Now, the numbers were higher. But some of the numbers they were putting in made Sauk Village look a lot worse. He went through and he's providing actual information from the computer readouts. Actual numbers, what's being recorded. Not penciling in numbers and changing numbers. At a whim. Let's see here. Water rates. I want to show this report here. This is pretty interesting. And at the end of this, I'm going to tell you what I told you. I'll make sure you stuck around because I've got some news on for the residents. Is increased water and sewer revenues have have increased by approximately $386,000 in the last 10 months, year on, month to month. Oh, thank you very much. Excuse me for a moment. I'm so dry. Now, there's reasons why we got to these numbers. It just didn't happen overnight. You're going to find out on their slide that we're up to 95% of those residents are now paying their bills on time, their water bills. It wasn't there when I became mayor. People were being told not to pay their water bills. The funny thing is, people are now being told not to pay their water bills again. When their water gets turned off, they realize we're not playing games. So for those people out there telling people not to pay water bills, you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting the person that you're telling. Because that person will come back to you when their water's turned off. But again, this is kind of small. Let's look at here. If you look here, the blue is 2016 revenue. The orange is 2015. The gray is how much extra we brought in for those months. The last 10 months, we went 9 months straight bringing in more money this year by month than we did the previous year. 9 months straight. May, we brought in $94,000 more, $95,000 more in June, $29,000 in July, $63,000 in August, $11,000 in September, $18,000 in October, $18,000 in November, $700 in December, $54,000 in January, and we brought in $1,000 less in February. Again, there's reasons for that. People start getting their first bills from Christmas, right? How about in February, you start getting your first credit card bills for people that wouldn't spend too much, so they want to start paying the credit card bills. But you know what? Well, you have no doubt that in April and May, those numbers will start to increase again, because as we go out and start turning our water off, they'll come back and start paying their bills. Now, looking at this chart is why there's an ordinance before the village board on Tuesday night. You get to hear it first, because I don't think any of these things are running live, right? Tuesday night, there's an ordinance for the village board that I'm sending that we reduce water rates by $1 per 1,000 gallons in our water rates, effective May 1st. Why can we do this? Number one, those residents are paying their bills. We're up to a 95% rate that people are paying. Number two, there's a lot of other things that we can talk about, was when it comes to our loan. We had a $4.8 million loan. Right? We had a high payment. We received a $650,000 forgiveness. We received another $3-point-something million grant that paid off on that. We now only owe about $900,000 on that $4.8 million loan, which reduced the amount of money that we have to pay for that loan. There's other reasons that we can look at. We talked about the bonds that are going to start going away, $750,000 of bonds by the end of 2018. So you, the residents, have helped over the years. We had to get the air strippers, the iron removal systems. We had to get all the work done. Again, a lot of that work was put onto us by the state, mandated for us to do. And we could go back to when I became mayor. We were paying $50-some thousand, maybe more than that, per air stripper. We turned around and bought those air strippers the last few months before the work got going in. Turned around, we bought those air strippers for less than what 1 month's worth of rental was. Then we turned around and we put the air strippers in. So Tuesday night, trustees are going to receive their packets. An ordinance to reduce water rates by $1 per 1,000 gallons, which will mean right now you're paying $7.50 per 1,000 gallons. My recommendation will be to reduce it down to $6.50 per 1,000 gallons for you, the residents. Now, you got to hear it first before it's all over Facebook. So, because it's getting out there right now. Right? So, if you're on Facebook, if you want to try to beat it, go ahead and put it out there. The mayor's presented to the board. All right? So, yes. There is infrastructure, but you know, we're still bringing in more money. Again, if you look at in the last 10 months, we brought in $386,000 more. Okay? Again, it's time the residents, we did put that in so we could pay for the infrastructure, so we could pay for the air strippers, so we could pay to get all the work done. We've got the work done. All the wells are done. It's right here. We've got the new generators, we've got all new piping, we've got all new air strippers, we've got everything in there is new now, iron removal systems. You're the residents helped us get all this work done. Now, because of you allowing us to get this done, we've turned around and able to get grants to pay off those loans. So 408, or was it 4.8, 4.9 million? Okay. Is now down to $900,000. How many people's going to talk about that? In less than 4 years, we went from 4.8, I'm going to say 4.8, I'll round it off, to 900,000. So there's going to be people that's going to attack me. I'm going to let them. And probably the ones that are going to attack me are the ones that want to take that money and use it for themselves. But you know, it's time to give back to the residents. I heard one candidate say, you know how it is in government, once you go off and you pass it, you'll never see it again. I'm giving the opportunity for them to eat their words and give it back to the residents. So that's why Tuesday night, recommendation from the mayor to drop from $7.50 per thousand down to $6.50 per thousand. So I would encourage you to call your trustees and tell them you're in favor of it. Let them know, because you know what? You're the ones going to be voting on April 4th.
So what you're saying, if there's going to be any infrastructure improvements, the water rates will have to go up. Any idea how much?
I can tell you that some of the stuff that we looked into, and I'll tell you what, one thing people like talk about is Lake Michigan water, right? You know, there was a referendum, should we pursue Lake Michigan water? Sauk Village has never stopped pursuing it. We still go out there and we talk. I think JW just went out a couple months ago and met with a firm that wanted to come in. Problem is, a lot of these firms want to come in, they want to totally take over your water department. They won't take over your public works, they won't take over your water department. And what they'll do is they'll invest the money into your community, and then they are in charge of your water rates. Okay? Now, when it comes down to it, you can get Lake Michigan water, and usually a lot of people are mistaken. You can get Lake Michigan water for probably right around $10 to $11 per thousand, but that's not including the cost on top of it, which will raise your bills to probably closer to over $20 per thousand gallons, because you're going to have to pay for all those infrastructure repairs. So when someone says, I can get you Lake Michigan water for just a few dollars more, well, yeah, you can get the water from the next community for just a few dollars more. But you don't have the infrastructure for getting it here. Your infrastructure cannot handle it, which means additional repairs have got to be done to our infrastructure, which means that has to be paid. Again, going back to floating bonds and getting loans, which means you will pay for it, the residents. Remember, there's no such thing as a free lunch. When these candidates come down and say, make all these promises, you better make sure you ask them how they're going to do it. How? How are you going to make accounts payable and never borrow money from the water fund? How? How are you going to do it without raising my taxes? How are you going to do it without floating bonds? How are you going to do it without getting loans? If anyone says, I can do it, ask them how. And continue asking. Just like we talked about the 5 whys, ask them how 5 times. How? 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 They can't. They're lying to you to get their vote. And here's what they look at. Number one of the candidates' wife said that voters will remember what happened 6 months prior. So don't worry, you'll get reelected, because 4 years down the road after you're elected, 4 years down the road you get reelected because they won't remember what you said 4 years ago. So again, water rates for the last 10 months, 9 months, we've brought increased revenue. I've got the charts to show it, I got the proof to show it. That's why now I feel confident going back to telling the trustees, I'm recommending a $1 reduction in your water fees beginning May 1st. I bring it for the village board tomorrow, or Tuesday night, and I'm calling for a vote the following Tuesday. Let them put their money where their mouth is. Yeah, I think we talked about some, I may have a second slide up there, I apologize. We talked about the amount of water main breaks that we had by year, we talked about valves, and we talked about the fire hydrants. Talk about finances, everyone's talking about the finances of Sauk Village, right? I find it humorous. The ones that want to talk about the finances of Sauk Village are the ones that's voting no on anything and don't know anything about the finances of Sauk Village. Because they can't handle it. But they want to be your elected official. What I say, accountability is voting when you comes time to vote on something, knowing what you're voting on. Accountability is going off and doing the research. Being trustworthy to your residents is going off, and if you find something, sitting down. You know, I got trustees who won't even talk to me. I got trustees who won't come in the office. They want to use this as their soapbox. Walk right past my office all the time and never want to talk to me, want to say a word. I had a trustee the other night call for executive session. I said, you can answer executive session, I don't care. I answered the questions for him in the office because I said, what do you want executive session for? And the only reason he came in there because he knew he wouldn't get it if he didn't say something to me. And I had to tell him, maybe this is someone who's running for mayor, I had to tell him how to place the motion. He wanted for personnel and pending litigation, threatening pending litigation. I said, okay, I said, how are you going to ask for it? I said, here's how you have to ask. You want to place a motion to suspend the rules, to go into executive session for personnel and pending litigation. I had to tell him how to place the motion. I said, now, why do you want, I said, you're asking a couple minutes before we're going in here, why do you want this? Maybe I can answer your question. He asked, I answered his questions before we even went, before he even came in here. And then turn around and still ask for executive session. So the residents out here could sit for what, 45 minutes and wait. It was an hour. So the rest of the board could hear the same questions and the same answers. So, finances. You know when I became your acting mayor, remember, there was no audits that were done on the previous administration. Remember when I became acting mayor, no one knew what the finances was? Everyone was talking about traceability. Under this administration, there's more traceability on our financial situations than there was under the previous administration. But again, how much traceability will there be on the next election, under the next administration? If certain people get in. When I became mayor, no audits were completed. Under this administration, we completed the following audits: 2009, 2010, 2010, 2011, 2011, 2012, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2015, 2016, and we're on schedule to have the 2016-2017 audit presented by the end of April. Yes?
Do you expect to lay on the learning curve between the transition between the administration?
How can I do this without supporting a candidate? And there's going to be a learning curve. I'll tell you why, because I was a trustee for 14 years. I think it was November of 2012, former Mayor Lewis Tower sent his resignation, right? November? 2 weeks later, I was voted in as acting mayor. Was it 2 weeks or a week? I lose track of time. About 2 weeks later, I was voted in as acting mayor. I remember walking in that office. Number one, you just get this awe, it's just, you can't believe it. And then trying to figure out what was happening, and then having meetings with finance director and finding out how bad of a shape we were in. You get to the point, it's overwhelming. I don't care how long you've been trustee. No one really realizes until you sit in that chair. It's easy to sit there as trustee while people are yelling and screaming at you, and doodle on your paper, or have your political hats come up and use that pulpit to attack who you think is going to be your next candidate for mayor. It's easy to sit back and not say a word. Wait till they're in that seat and they have to answer those questions. there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be a learning curve to understand what's happening in the village, what you can do, what you cannot do. I think with anything, we just had a presidential election, right? Things are still going to run. What we saw in the presidential election, the learning curve. There's still a learning curve, right? You have someone that's never been in politics, who's the president of the United States, who he's still learning, right? Still trying to get his staff in place. The next mayor is going to come in, either they're going to keep the staff as is, or they're going to put their own staff in. That's going to have to go before the village board for a vote. So that's with approval and consent of the village board. It's important that whoever's in there, that they get qualified professionals, because if you don't, all it's going to do is continue to raise the litigation of our community. That's why it's important to make sure you've got professional people in those positions, not just someone who voted for you, not just a friend. Again, going back to what we saw in the previous administration, hiring a campaign manager to be a chief of staff, right? That's former administration. So, I've talked to my staff, and there's no for sure's. My staff is in there until the end of until the end when I leave office. Okay, it's up to them if they want to continue working for the next administration. I'm not discouraging. I'm not encouraging it. I guess maybe I'm encouraging it more than anything to be able to work with the next administration, because I'm living here. And it's best to have people in place that knows what's going on. All right. But again, that's up to the next administration. If they want to keep them, they keep them. If they don't, they go before the village board and present. There is things they have to follow by state statute. There's certain things when it comes to attorneys. You have to follow state statute. State statute is very clear about when it comes to attorneys. When it comes to financial directors, it's very clear about financial directors. There's things in the state statute that next administration needs to make sure they're very careful about, or it's going to continue to cost this village more litigation. So, and again, if they ask me, I'll show it to them. If they don't, if they just want to go on their own, that's up to them, and it's their own fate. So, where are we at here? Now, I just kind of did some by fast. Budgets. Here's all the budgets we passed: 2013, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17. I'm not presenting a budget this year. I would if I was running for mayor. What I've done is I've talked to the finance director, he's gathering all the numbers, talked to the department heads, so I'm going to start putting all their numbers together. The next administration, when they come in, they can sit down and put their own budget together. There's going to be things that they may agree, they may disagree. But if the next administration wants some assistance, I'll be willing to help them. There's some challenges. We just got hit with a lawsuit, and I'll be honest with you, we have to put $101,000 into a special account for this one lawsuit until it's settled. So there's things as a municipality that has to be done. There's special funds that come in. The fire department's under their own fund. That's called the fire fund. You pay taxes to the fire fund. The general fund consists of administration, police department, my mind just went, Homeland Security. There's a couple other little things in there. Then when you get into the water fund, they have their own fund, water department. I think streets and public works and stuff fall under administration. And then you've got your TIFs and your bonds and things like that. So, your budget is very detailed. It's a lot of work. And I know every year I sit down, I'm the guy with a red pen when it comes to the department heads come back and say everything they want. Finance director says, okay, here's what they want, here's how much we have. So usually I send it back to them a couple times, did you guys make cuts before I make cuts? And then they come back and forth, and then I come back and I start making cuts. You say, okay, here's how much money we project that's coming in. Does it match what we project we're going to spend? So it's going to be a lot of work. So it's going to be challenging, for the next administration. It's going to be challenging for the next few years. Again, we already talked about we're 4 to 6 months behind on our money coming from the state. I don't care who gets elected here. There's nothing you're going to do to the state to make them pay you that 4 to 6 months. You can talk all you want. Talk too much, you'll be 8 to 9 months behind. So You can get smart with the state all you want. You'll find out it's less. Let's see here. Collective bargaining. You know, think about this. We've got the police department with the officers and sergeants, got public works administration. We're all up to date on our collective bargaining. Now, I came in here when I was elected. The previous administration wouldn't work with unions. So we had to go off when I was in here at the end of 2012, 2013. We had to go back and redo these collective bargaining agreements. So, you know, we're all up to date with our unions, and you know, I think we have a pretty good working relationship with our unions. They may not agree with me all the time. I may not agree with them, but you know, we both have the best interest of the village residents. They understand that I have to spend the village residents' money. You know, I have to be very prudent, right? I guess we're prudent. You know, so they're not always going to get what they want, right? But again, we try to be fair, and that's what's important, fair with our union employees.
Taking a lot of criticism for outsourcing our dispatch. Could you explain why that had to be done?
Oh, sure. Dispatch center consisted of 5 employees, had a budget of over $300,000 a year. When we looked at it, it was a 5-year ROI, return on investment. With, what was it? In 5 years, there was $1 million cost savings. So really, it's less than 5 years return on investment.
Did you try to negotiate with them before?
Oh, we did. We did, because we were in negotiations with them at the time. And we said, you know, this is what we need to do. So we went back and negotiated with them. We told them exactly what we needed to do, which would have consisted of a pay cut. There were some other things that we wanted to change to try to get them close. If we could have got them close, I'd be honest with you, today we priced out a dispatch center. They refused on everything.
Is it easy to get unions to take pay cut?
Never. So and I say I was a union employee, so at one time. But we tried working with them, we couldn't. We went to the next step, looked at joint dispatch. We went through multiple dispatch centers to see which one was the best. We found the best. And you know, think about when our dispatch center did close, they all ended up with severance pay. We provided them with opportunities at jobs. We did a job fair for them. We brought in other joint dispatch centers. Had they had the opportunity to get jobs, they refused. Most of them refused. I think maybe one took a job.
State statute that the municipalities under 25,000 citizens have to have a shared joint dispatch.
Oh yeah, it's going across the whole entire state. That joint dispatch centers are required. It's a state mandate.
It's just not a purely business decision, it's a decision that we have to follow state statute.
Oh, correct. So in fact, we were proactive. We were probably one of the first communities. You know, what that allowed us to do is to be able to be part of the choice, not for the state to come in and say, you're going with this joint dispatch center, and here's how much you're going to pay. We were able to negotiate our costs to get the best price for the residents and to be able to choose where we wanted to go. And that's what was important. So there's some communities that are locking their heels and refusing. Probably within the next few months, they're going to be told where they have to go. And here's what they're going to have to pay. And they're going to have no say about it. So
Was it an unpopular decision that we made?
I think a lot of decisions you look at, you know, maybe it's not popular, but in the end, again, it wasn't popular with some. And there was a lot of false information that went out on that. But in the end, it was a cost savings for you, the residents of Sauk Village, and provided us a service that in some ways is a lot better than what we had. There's some things that we could never provide. Our services, you know, you think about our whole entire 911 system was going to have to be upgraded. We were looking at, how much was that, about $2 million? It was about $2 million extra we had to pay. Plus on top of that, paying over $300,000 a year. So, you know, when you look at cost savings to you, the residents, in the end, maybe not popular, but probably the best decisions when it comes to the finances of our community. We were able to take that money that would have been used for a dispatch center, that we were able to use it in other areas in our general fund. Let's see here. Let's talk about administration. I got quite a few slides on it, so I'm going to have to start wrapping this up pretty fast because I got a lot more slides here. We hired a professional village administrator, public safety director. Think about this, J.W. Fairman represents more than 50 years of experience in local, county, and state government. In just 2 short years, here's some of the things that J.W. has done. People want to complain about how much he gets paid. He's doing 2 roles. And take a look at some of the stuff that he's done. Assisted in settling the 3 employee contract bargaining agreements. He's established monthly department safety meetings with our risk insurance carrier. Revised, updated the village employee handbook. Identified and created a master list of the 400 homes that are residential, that are empty. Placed 188 property water liens on owners of properties owning excessive water bills. No more, again, this is a positive note. We just got to talk about more than 95% of residents are not paying their bills on time. That wasn't there when I became mayor. So people are paying their water bills on time. Because we got serious, we started turning water off. That's something that didn't happen in previous administration. Next one. So we had to show that we were serious about running Sauk Village as a business, not as a playground and let your friends do whatever they want. Increased water and sewer rates by approximately $400,000. We just talked about that. To $386,000. So, see, created legislation assigning responsibility of delinquent water sewer payments to the owners of the property. That's probably one of the biggest complaints we received is where the owners had no idea that had rental properties that water rates were going up, or that their bills were not being paid. Then the person of a rental property would leave that owner with a bill of $1,000, $1,200. Well, by state statute, the owner of the property, which is the landlord, was responsible for that water bill. I had landlords come back and say, you know what, this is not right. If I could have received the bill, I would have known. So now the legislation has passed that water bills have to put in the owner's name. So now the landlord is seeing that water bill. He knows what's being paid. He knows what's not being paid. It allows him to have better control of his resident or his tenant. Thank you. Drastically reduce Sauk Village civil liabilities and currently working with ComEd to repair Sauk Village streetlights. We talked about that earlier about the meetings that were held this week with ComEd and Public Works. Think about this. This is things that's happened in this administration. We just got to purchasing a new fire truck, and if you saw the fire department's report, March 20th, which is next week, that would be fully operational and be up and going. Right now, they're doing all the training. So we just purchased a brand new fire truck, and we paid one of the fire trucks grants off in full. 911 requirements met need. More detail. Let's see here. Sorry about that. Okay, I probably want my notes there. Added employees to the following departments. And think about this last administration: police department, fire department, public works, and administrative services. We've added employees again. We've reduced employees where we need them, where we did not need them. We put employees where we're needing them so that it better serves the residents of Sauk Village. Implemented a debt recovery program that was under the direction of Trustee Myers. Again, getting money in that debt recovery system. If you owe Sauk Village money, I encourage you to pay it. Because if you owe us money, what we're doing is once it gets turned over to a collection agency, we now work with that collection agency to turn it over to the state. And if you get a tax refund and you owe Sauk Village money, we're going to get our money before you get your refund. So this is a program that was started under Trustee Myers. He was the one that I asked him to handle it and head it up. He's done a great job going after past debt that's owed to us. Got some residents that are not too happy when they saw their tax return. But you know what? Pay your bills. All right. Completed updating Sauk Village water pumps. Wells, we're talking about that right there. Let's see here. Through the Sauk Village Housing Commission, the following have been accomplished. 12 blighted houses have been torn down. 100 abandoned lawns were cut the whole summer season. There's a whole entire season that was cut. Now we turn a lot of that over to our Public Works Department. Again, cutting abandoned homes. Again, we're looking at putting those liens back on those homes, which goes back to the banks and to the mortgage companies, so that when they do sell those homes, Sauk Village will get reimbursed the money that we're putting out as a village to keep their properties upkept. Think think about the beautification committee, Linda Todd, she's the chairperson, so I saw Linda back there, she's done a great job on some of this stuff, and she's part of the committee when a lot of this stuff was done, but it's under her direction. I think, well, you just resigned, right, or retired, or Sharon Nowak, I'm sorry about that. Sharon's got it now. Time goes too fast for me. So, sorry about that, Sharon. But think about some of the stuff that's happened. Both Sharon and Linda work closely together and getting us stuff. Annual Hootsie Awards, village-wide cleanups. I tell you, those village-wide cleanups are amazing, the people that come out. I got a picture here coming up with Representative Sims. Came out to one of our cleanup days. You're going to see his picture here in a few minutes. He's wearing an orange vest. We're out on the corner of 394 and Sauk Trail cleaning. Your state representative came to Sauk Village to clean up. We can't get trustees because you're in their hands. But your state representative, he's always got my vote. Let's see here. New signage on the corner of 394 and Sauk Trail. They did a great job painting that. They had someone come in here. And Welch Park. When you leave, take a look at the sign out here. They got this individual sitting here shaking his hand. You remember? I can't remember his name for some reason.
James.
James. Thank you very much. James did a great job pretty much designing it and painting it, putting it together. So we thank James for all the work he's done for getting that for us. Think about this, planting of flowers throughout the village. And, these ladies, you see them out there all the time, digging in the dirt, planting these flowers. Look at this. The municipal center, police department, fire department, the marquees. They've implemented the adopt-a-site under the beautification committee.
Don't forget Jack.
So, that's right. I may have a picture of Jack. I don't know. I had to take some of the pictures out because they got too large. But I got a picture, I think, of Jack sitting here in the back of his truck with garbage or something. I don't know if it's in there or not. But they're out there digging up, planting flowers in the heat of the summer, making things look beautiful. They're very festive, I guess the word is. They're out there, how many times in the harvest time, or what they call it, around October time frame, they got stuff out here by the doors. Christmas time, they're in here decorating, putting stockings up and things like that, putting Christmas trees in the lobby. The beautification committee has done a great job to bring pride and progress back to our community. I think all the work that they've done. But again, we didn't see this under previous administrations. These individuals are working very hard under this administration. And they're not doing it for credit. They're not doing it for someone to pat them on the back. They're not doing it for accolades. But they're doing it because of their love for the community. So, and again, this is the time where I throw this little commercial in here. They're always looking for volunteers. So if you have any love for this community also, come join this committee. Think about this, replace an outdated handbook, employee handbook. We just got that done. Putting the handbook together and getting it out there for the employees. Link village departments to work dependent of government versus independent of government. That's a big one. That one was very difficult. The departments thought they were independent of this board, of this mayor. They thought they could do whatever they wanted. They thought they were their own island. Again, that's why it's important getting key people inside these departments. Not to be a yes man to the board or to the mayor, but to make sure that they're working hand in hand. Their goals should complement the goals of this municipality, not their own little goals and off in their own little world. So we've worked really hard on getting that so that departments work dependent of government versus independent of government. Joint dispatch center, we've talked a lot about that already. Savings residents want $200,000 a year with estimated savings of $1 million in the first 5 years. Continue to provide services and events for village residents. I think there's some of the stuff that we did as mayor. This last year we had the first 3-on-3 basketball tournament. I encourage the next mayor, have another one. And that was probably one of the best things we had. I think the kids loved it. And it cost a little bit of money out of pocket. The village didn't pay for this. I, as a mayor, paid out of my pocket because they're having corn and dog roast the same day. I paid Parks and Recs out of my pocket to provide provide dogs and corn for all the people that played. Again, giving back to the community as your mayor, giving to a Parks and Recs committee, and then on top of it, buying the trophies and stuff. So we got pictures there. We got the cleanup days. There's a picture there. Memorial Day services. We got the meet mayor in the park. That was a fun day this year, like last year. getting out there, meeting the residents and cooking hot dogs and stuff. Kids that I liked it, they got to go out there and play with other kids and play football, and I think they had soccer and all kinds of stuff. And then nights out, it seems like that's the fun picture there is in the dunk tank. I want to see if the next mayor gets in the dunk tank. I think I'm probably the only mayor that can remember ever got in the dunk tank. But you know what, sometimes you have to, you know, that's right, humble. You know, it's not about, you know, believe me, it's not about the glory. I'll tell you, you get dunked a few times, you're drowned. But you know what, you can't let a position say, oh, I'm the mayor now. I can't lower myself. You know, you have to look up to me. You know? My wife still has a hard time when someone calls her the first lady of Sauk Village. She's still my wife. You know, she's just Linda. You know, people come up to me and say, oh, Mr. Mayor, so just call me Dave. You know, again, I'm not trying to lower the position. But you know, going back to what we talked about earlier, I remember where I came from and where I'm at today. The problem is most people don't remember where they came from.
Right.
You know, they'll say they burned too many bridges. Remember, some days, so the bridges you're burning, someday you may have to cross them down. Or what's the other saying is that you're going up the ladder of success. Be careful of the people you step on. Because one day, they might be passing you. You know, that paper boy that you gave such a hard time, someday may be your boss. I was concerned that one. Right? So, again, nights out was great. And I encourage the next mayor to get out there and get on that dunk tank and get drowned. It's fun though. Let's see here. How many more days we got? Here's where we brought state representatives to Sauk Village. Think about it. I got a few pictures. We got a congresswoman came to Sauk Village and how many parades. You got the Senator Trotter. At the time, you had Governor Quinn. You look at all these state representatives and stuff in these lower pictures. You got Marcus Evans. You see Anthony DeLuca there. You got pictures of the governor. The director of the IEPA. She came out to Sauk Village. Again, Marcus Evans there. Here's a picture we talked about. LG Sims. He's out there on cleanup day wearing his orange vest cleaning up. Again, can't even get trustees dirty their hands. So
He actually helped me clean up a house on Peterson too,
there you
the
go.
day before.
So he's out there. You're a representative. That's a true representative. That's a true servant of the people. Right there. You want to see a true servant of the people? Right there. Not worried about getting his hands dirty, getting out there and cleaning up and helping someone clean up a house. That's right. Not that I'm sitting here on Tuesday night only, I'll walk in here and open my packet a couple minutes before and try to decide what you're trying to present. And I want to use it for my soapbox. Someone who goes out there and gets out there for the people. Economic development, what time is it? I think I have a few more slides left, so hang on. Think about this. We've worked hard to recruit and retain business in the Sauk Village. Again, this is just a small list, and I'm sure this list could go on and on. Excuse me. But think about recruiting businesses. You know, we've got Title Max, Advanced Auto, Peak Beauty Supplies here now, Washington Square Mall is here now, Daycare Center over there in Sherryville Plaza. Sherryville Plaza is there now. There's 4 businesses that we probably could have put up there. Again, I just want to, this is some of the latest ones. You know, Advanced Auto, there's trustees voted against bringing them to Sauk Village. Took a 5-strip mall area that's been divided for how many years? They voted against economic development, but they want to be your next mayor. How many jobs does Advanced Auto bring? How much tax revenue does Advanced Auto? Advanced Auto has car shows every year to bring people to Sauk Village. They voted against economic development. This is one thing to remember. Funny thing was they didn't have a hard time being out there with ribbon cutting ceremonies to get their picture taken. Retain hometown murals. Who remembers what used to be on the north side of Sauk Village, west end? Now it's over here on the south side of the east end. Yeah, they moved from one corner there, but you know, we were able to keep them here in Sauk Village. Retaining businesses like that, retaining businesses like WSI. WSI is one of our distribution centers that are over in what we call TIF area number 3. Had over a 300,000 square foot area. They were getting ready to move. We found a building right behind them that was vacant. They turned around. They bought that building. They're staying here in Sauk Village. They were leasing. They bought that building And now they own the building behind them, and they're renting almost 3/4 of the building that they used to be in. That's how much they've grown. And they're talking about maybe buying that building back again that they used to be in. That's about retaining businesses and keeping them here in Sauk Village. Next one we're going to talk a little bit about is WinPac. WinPac could have left. WinPac now is moving their corporate headquarters from the East Coast to Sauk Village. Their whole entire corporate headquarters is moving here. They've got a whole entire second floor that they're putting in their corporate headquarters. They've increased their building double size. Let's take a look at what WinPac does for Sauk Village. WinPac extension means 100 new jobs in Sauk Village. 100. I tell you right now, not one trustee, or especially the ones that want to take credit for it, worked on this WinPac deal at all. Not one of them. In fact, they were upset because they weren't given enough notice on what was happening, because we already did everything without them. And I'll tell you why. It's because just before WinPac deal, I brought another deal to the board and let them know what we were working on. The individual who was bringing the business who was bringing it to the village turned around and got a bunch of calls talking about how they don't want to move to Sauk Village, how the mayor's a racist, all kinds of stuff. He turned around and left Sauk Village. We lost the deal, which would have been great for this community. The second deal that came up was Advance Auto. Because I learned from the first deal, Advance Auto, we did all the work on it, and we made sure they had their contract signed with the property owner before we turned around and brought it to the board. Even after we brought it to the board, Advance Auto corporate headquarters received calls saying how Advance Auto does not want to come to Sauk Village, all the same stuff. But Advance Auto had already signed their contracts. We had already spent hours meeting with the corporate headquarters and meeting with Advance Auto, so they knew the calls that they were receiving were false. And all it was a political way of trying to keep Sauk Village from growing. When it came to WinPac, again, we learned from their mistakes. Hindsight's better than foresight. We made sure everything was done. We had meetings with the state, we had meetings with Susquehanna's managers, meetings with ComEd, meetings with WinPac. There was multiple meetings we had, multiple meetings with engineers, both on their side and our side, to make sure we had everything. We had all the building permits signed and everything, and it was just before the groundbreaking, before we brought it to the board to let them know what was going on. Now, they want to say that as mayor, I don't give them information. There's a reason I don't give them information. Because we've got people on the board that want to do nothing but try to destroy this village so they can have personal gain. That's why. Advance Auto, you know what? We had 100 less jobs in Sauk Village if I would have brought this to the board prior. They would not have moved their corporate headquarters here because there's people on the board that would have took it and tried to keep it WinPac and grow. Look at everything you're putting in, a new expansion, everything it includes. Got 10 more minutes here. The exterior was going to include, the important thing is right here, 100 new jobs. Go by and take a drive, take a look at it. Was it double their size? Let's see here. I don't remember what I have here. The expansion was 348,000. I'm trying to think, it was like 300-some thousand, 350,000 that they were in. So, or 200-some thousand that they were in. So it made it go over 600,000 square feet. We talked about in the past how important WinPac is. K-Cups, who has a Kirk, right? How many people turn it over to see the two W's underneath to see if that was made in Sauk Village? Stands for WinPac. That made Sauk Village. How many people ever get the personalized Pringles that comes in the plastic and you pop the top, you got the Pringles in there? Ever get those? They make 100% of those plastic bottles right here in Sauk Village. How many times you ever go to a store and you get dipping sauce? Right? You ever turn it over and wonder who made that little plastic container that dipping sauce is in? Look, see if it has a W, two W's, one on top of the other. That means it was made here in Sauk Village. This is a major company that no one knows that we even have here. That's global. But there'd be those on the board that would try to stop this from happening. Let's see here. Challenge over the last 4 years. So I think this is my last slide. So perfect timing. Ordinances to address medical marijuana. That was a tough decision. People were like, "Oh man, your religious beliefs are trying to keep marijuana." And you know what? We want to make sure that if a marijuana facility didn't come to Sauk Village, because you know medical marijuana is everywhere, right? We want to make sure that it wasn't somewhere close to our kids. We want to make sure it was somewhere that it was an area that wouldn't affect people's homes. So it was a major decision looking at medical marijuana. So we got the ordinances passed that cover that. Think about this: increased licenses and fees to be consistent with surrounding communities. You talk about was things popular? No. A lot of times things that are hard aren't popular. But you know, we're consistent with other communities. Let's see here, joint emergency dispatch center. We've already talked that in the ground. Reducing crime. Next administration is going to continue having this as a challenge. I don't care where you're at, there's no crime, there's no community that's crime-free. But it takes a strong administration to go after the criminals. If you're not strong, or if you're friends with the criminals, your crime is going to increase. And we know a couple candidates that are friends with the criminals. A few. Not only because they're friends with them, but because their families are criminals. That's what's important to remember. Getting board approval. Here's what gets me. Board approval, candidates are running on payroll and aging reports. But I've got the same candidates who vote no or present when it comes to paying our accounts payables. Who knows what accounts payables are? Paying our employees and paying our vendors. It's out there on the website. Go out there and see how these candidates, especially the ones that are in office right now, vote for paying your bills. They have no reason to say anything about the bills if they vote no. Because if bills don't get paid, they've already voted no not to pay them. If they're elected, what are they going to do? Are they going to continue voting no to pay our bills? That's what's important. We've worked very hard the last 4 years to get our bills down. You look at the aging report. I looked at the aging report the other day. We're down to $700,000. What was it, 1.9 million when I came in office? It's not bad. And when I came in office, if you look at the aging report, you had 0 to 30, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, 91 to 120. You had columns, right? You had by Excel sheets. And across would be your vendor's name and how much you owe them, right? Everything was weighted on this side. 90 to 120 days or more. Look at the aging report now. We're pushing everything back. We're pushing back. I work for a corporate world. You know, 90 net days is good. Especially for a municipality. Especially when you have to get the bills to come in. You only have meetings twice a month. Getting it before the board. 90 net days is good. We're almost there. There's a few bills that will hang out there because those are litigation. Those bills won't get paid until the courts they're settled in court. So when you look at the bills that are out there, you look at those ones that are hanging, you know, it's, I talked to JW when he first came on. I said, I want to go up to the low-hanging fruit first. And we talked about that when we took our Lean and Green Six Sigma. That is, get the little $5 and $10 and $20 paid, you know, and then we'll start working on big ones. That's what we did a couple years ago. We started getting on the low-hanging fruit first and worked our way up getting this stuff paid. So, you know, does the next administration have challenges? Yes, they do. They're going to continue having challenges. They're going to continue having challenges as long as the state continues to be slow on making their payments. But they're really going to have challenges if they turn around and go out there and start making bonds, if they go out there and start to get loans. And they'll really have problems 2 years later if they raise your taxes. Because that's the only way they're going to be able to do it, rather than borrowing money from the water fund. We talked about at the very beginning. Ask your candidate how they plan on doing it without borrowing money from the water fund. I've heard candidates out there say, I'll never borrow money from the water fund. Well, it means you're going to raise taxes. You're going to have to go out and float bonds, which means your residents are going to have to pay, or you're going to have to get loans. Remember, as the campaign material comes through in the next few weeks, you're probably going to get flooded. You know, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. There's no pie in the sky. And the most important, if it's an individual that's running, that's sitting on this board, that says they can do better, why didn't they say something, and why didn't they present it at a board meeting prior to running? Because they don't have any good ideas. That's what's important to remember. So, I think this is my last slide. Yep. So, again, this is the last meeting for election, probably the last meeting for mayor. I'm not sure if I'll have one in April or not. We're winding stuff down. I told the board the other night that I'm working with department heads. I'm trying to pass things off to people so that there's kind of a smooth transition. And I just kind of want to just walk away. Again, I'll be out there if they have any questions. I'll work with the next administration if they want me to. But I don't plan on getting in the way. I just want to be left alone. That's the key thing. I want to spend time with my family. Get to know my kids that over the last 28 years that they saw very little of their father. But I'm looking forward to, probably as most of you sitting here, I'm looking forward to the grandkids, right? No? I'm looking forward to just going off and what do they call it, spoiling them and sending them back to their mom and dad. So that's what I'm looking forward to my last few years of living, I guess. But I'm still young, I guess. I turned the big 5-0 this year, right? So I'm going over the hill. Is that what they say? But life's been good to me. And again, on the way out, I'm closing here because I got 30 seconds. I just want to thank the residents of Sauk Village for allowing me to be your mayor. I'd like to thank the ones for coming out today. I think we've had a good 4 years. We've taken the impossible and made it possible. And we've worked really hard to work for you. Again, you said when I was elected that everything I do, some people are going to agree, some people are going to disagree. You're not going to agree with everything that I did over the last 4 years. You probably think that you disagree with what I've done over the last 4 years. But again, it was always looking to move Sauk Village forward. So thank you very much for coming out today. And again, we're going to try to get this on the village website under the mayor's report. And we'll go ahead and get some of this other information out too for you, especially on these charts. Because again, these charts aren't from me. They're from our insurance companies and water funds and things like that. So thank you very much.
I just want to say this. Ever since I know him, he's been doing great things. We're not going to let him go nowhere. This is not the end. He might not have another mayor meeting, but we're going to have a meeting for the mayor to show him how much that we love him. So let's get together in a couple of weeks from now and put this back together for him. Because I don't know about you, but I remember when he came in, what we presented for. He took us from down here to up here. And like he said, the next mayor that comes in is not going to be easy, but if you follow his road plan that he has laid out for you, it's going to be very simple to do. So I tell you, I don't know about you, but it's been good to me, buddy. And whatever I can do, I'm going to
Hey, last thing, just
a judge for the chili cook-off.
what's that?
You don't